Hi brothers and sisters.
Hi there.
We're gathering again tonight because we got really enthused by watching a video from this guy. I don't remember his name. I put it up on the website, and he was saying about the prophecies and in the last days and what's going to happen. We've already discussed all this, and we found it very interesting historically how the Washington Monument's set up to coincide with Rome, and that was very, very interesting. And I just wanted to talk about the again history going back to the time of the Nephilim. And a lot of people say that the pyramids were built before the flood. They survived through the flood. And you know, the Nephilim, there were Nephilim there that were 46 feet high. And they have been monsters, so they could have cut up all those big stones and packed them all up and made machines to do it. They were very intelligent and clever. Victoria's reading tonight earlier how Yahusha said all their thoughts were evil. And he was sorry, continually. And he was sorry that he created man, because that's what man had turned into. Everyone had Nephilim blood in them. And that's what Noah was the only one left that had the pure bloodline of Adam. So that was interesting. So we're looking pre-flood, what that would have been like on earth. And we're looking at Noah. He came down from the ark, and he was, what, how many years old? 6? Yeah.
500 years old when he had his children.
So 6.
Yeah,
It took about 100 years to build it.
Yeah.
It's about 600.
And so they, after that, when did they declare that, Yahuah declared that they were only going to live for 120 years? Where was that?
That was during the flood.
During the flood.
I've had it with these people, their thoughts are wicked continually, they'll only live.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But Noah's family lived, Noah was 500, 600 years old when he died.
Most people think that doesn't actually mean 120 years, it means 120 cycles, which is Shemitah cycle, which is 50 something. It ended up being 6,000 years or something.
All right.
It worked out, I forget now.
That's good. So, who Nimrod broke away from Noah's teaching that was handed down to Adam and passed on, right?
Yeah.
So he broke away and he built the tower and all the sun, moon, star worship of deities and things like that. They had many deities. Right, and then Yahusha got fed up with that, and we know what he did to it. He squashed it all and scattered their languages and scattered them. So when do you think Egypt came into play? They say that Egyptians were very, very black skinned, didn't they?
From Ham.
From Ham.
Yeah.
So when Ham was Noah's son,
Yeah.
so when do you think they went to Egypt? Egypt was very lush, wasn't it? It wasn't a desert, it was just beautiful and lush.
Prior to the plagues.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Straight away.
Eh?
Straight away.
Yeah.
It's not far from, Babel was up near the Euphrates, and compared to Australia, it's less distance than, it wouldn't have taken long to get to Egypt.
Right, so Babylon's destroyed. When did Egypt become a big nation, because they only had, what, 1,000 years, didn't they, before Moses? He.
Joseph.
I know there was 1,500 years between Yahusha and Moses and Joshua.
Yeah.
So that would make it about 500 years between Moses and Flood. Around about. Because there were 2,000 and then 2,000.
So when do you think Egypt started to come into power? Do you think Babylon was squashed before that happened?
No, because it would have been at the height of its.
When Moses was there?
Well, actually, we don't know for certain. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's 3 sons, would have gone out. Noah cursed his younger son for being a perv, and then at that point he could have broken away then.
Ham would have gone to Egypt
Yeah,
with Shem.
could have done.
Do you think they were following Yahusha when they were there or not?
No.
So, do you think when Babylon was scattered, they came down with the beliefs from Nimrod?
Well, they carried the same sun, moon, star, Trinity, all that mother, son. You see it all through every culture when it's scattered. There's the same Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz. It's all in every. In this case, it's Isis, Osiris, and whatever the third one was.
Right.
But yeah, I think it all.
And things were going on with Greece and Rome.
Well, that was Japheth. I think he became the Europeans. Shem became the sort of the Asian / Israelite types. Ham became all the Negro. He was the Negroes, and all the Europeans, which
And
became
so
Americans.
the worship of Yahusha fell by the wayside, would you say?
Yeah.
And there's Moses left with the 3 million.
That's it. Yeah.
And there were only 2 out of that survived, weren't there?
Yeah.
That went into the land.
Yeah, their children went in, but the original,
First generation.
that came out of Egypt didn't.
That's what I found fascinating about that video, just looking at it going, this is what they actually did in Egypt while Moses was there. This is how in depth their idolatry was. Something like just trying to raise the dead, and this Pharaoh died, and this was the spirit of the, I found it amazing. This is actually the idolatry in his face.
They treated them like gods.
That the spirits were sown into them.
It's the same as the Indonesian pastors treat the pastors like that,
Yeah.
So that's all through the missionaries again. When we look at what's happened from then, we can see that David came in and Solomon built the temple. David prepared it all, Solomon built the temple. And where was the temple?
On Mount Moriah, I think.
And all the, in between the grouting of the bricks, big blocks, it was gold. That's what the Romans melted down and took. And if you saw it on the side of a hill, it would be just shining, beautiful in the sunlight. They said it was an amazing sight back then.
How amazing.
So, what do you think that city is a shadow of?
The New Jerusalem.
It's a shadow. Yeah. It's definitely a shadow.
So he's bringing that in and doing all that in our faces to show us, as we learn the history of Scripture, we can see, that associates with the New Jerusalem coming down.
Yeah.
No.
A promised land shadow with a Jerusalem shadow with a temple glowing and sparkling and shadow. It's all shadows and what is partially happening now. We've got the land, we've got the heart, we've got the temple, we're just waiting for the
So Mithraism went over to Greece and Rome, and Egypt and Greece and Rome. Babylon was gone, but they were all following and spreading that belief system. You know, because Pharaoh wouldn't let Yahuah's people go, and he's a symbol of wanting to control the people, what Satan wants, wanting to control them and keep them down, so they didn't have liberty and freedom. You know, that's what I say to Victoria all the time. We're just slaves in this community. The government, Egypt, you know, Rome are controlling it all. So we've got to pay taxes and and go through all that. But I said to her, we're here incognito, in amongst it all, being part of it. So we see Rome came and destroyed Jerusalem, and there was Babylon again rose, didn't it? Nebuchadnezzar?
That was before Rome.
All Rome.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, well,
Babylon.
but he'd risen up before that.
Yeah.
So did the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, is that would be in the same vicinity as the tower was?
I'd say so. Yeah. I think.
And there's all these people speaking different languages now, in amongst it all.
Yeah.
Maybe Yahuah's plan was just to slow it down a bit, because they're all moving very fast and controlling. And Yahusha said if he doesn't come sooner, there wouldn't be anyone left. So he's preserving people all the way through, by the looks of things. And then the Jews stayed there, and it moved over to the United Kingdom, London, Britain, and they were controlling so much there. So you can see that Babylon has been shifting to where the power and the wealth is all the time. Right? And then we have the United States. Well, you read all about or heard all about that today, about the United States, yeah?
Yeah.
So where do you think Gog and Magog are today? When we look at the prophecy of Matthew 24, they're going to come from the east, aren't they? So where do you think Gog and Magog are?
No idea.
Well, they come from the east.
I don't know anything about it. Never read about it.
Well, what's in the east?
Middle East.
We're Western society, Western culture.
Australia, China, Israel, Middle East.
Well,
East is African nations.
yeah.
Oriental.
They say that on the news at the moment that Russia wants to take over the Ukraine. They're claiming it as their land, and they want to come in. They've got all troops on the borders and, you know, guns and all those sort of things there. So they want to come in and take over the Ukraine and claim the land. China, it says on the news, is watching Russia, and if Russia moves and the United States come in, they'll be busy, and so then they want to come in and take over Thailand. Taiwan, yeah.
Interesting.
So that's going on, and it's sort of like in scripture it says Gog and Magog will come from the east and want to control it. There'll be a war.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, looking at the history, and you can see how America's set up now. They're the greatest, most powerful nation in the world, and it says in Revelation that Rome will fall. Well, the United States is connected with Rome politically and religiously.
Yeah.
So Rome in Italy has had a shift to the United States, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's the headquarters.
Yeah.
So when we look at the prophecy of Matthew 24, we see all these things eventuating, coming in. I think it's really important that we know the history of Scripture
Yeah.
and going through. Of course, there's been many other wars and many other nationalities rising up and being squashed all the time. Yahusha squashed them all. He destroyed Babylon, Egypt, Rome, Greece. He hasn't done Rome yet, but Jerusalem got squashed because of their behaviour.
Yeah.
So now it's in America, raging. The people are all controlled under their doctrines and mindsets.
That was interesting what you're talking about, the control of the people in Egypt, how they were all, the Hebrews were slaves, and they were just slaves to the Egyptians. So in every generation from then on, there's been another kingdom come in and take over and control them and make them slaves, to take, from Persia, from Greece, from Rome, all the different kingdoms that have come in, they just enslave. And now the religious have sent missionaries out, and they're controlling. And all over the world, the missionaries went, and they're controlling the people.
Bring them under their doctrines.
Bringing them under, yeah. So it's everything is to control and to keep people down, to keep them deceived, to keep them under. And yeah,
I spoke to you about the communion. You said it was a mortal sin to miss Mass.
Yeah.
And you go to hell, that's what they
You
preach.
go to hell if you miss.
Hey guys, sorry we had some technical difficulties on this video tonight. My phone had a big spaz, but I hope you appreciated the content, and that you can see what the world's saying about, they're trying to guess. They're trying to formulate what's going to happen to the world in 2025. Yeah? It's all man-made nonsense. Just because they think they can bring things to life, they think they can make physical things happen through worshipping deities, doesn't mean it actually does. Having said that though, the content of that video was just so concise. It's better than having to wade through hundreds and hundreds of pages of literature. He just had it hit the nail on the head. Knows nothing about Yahusha, but the content of the paganism, where it came from. He did mention Nimrod, but he mainly dealt with Egypt. But we know it came from Babylon. Yeah. So anyway, that's enough for me. I just wanted to conclude this video because, like I said, the camera switched off early. Love you guys. We'll be back soon.